We've got all the cheese, the butter, the spicy, the garlic, all the things. These are not your average roast potatoes, my friends. These are my spicy Gochujang Hasselback potatoes. Roast potatoes. All right, so it's pretty hard to improve on a really good classic roast potato, but like I think this might be it, like the best roast potato ever. Maybe not ever, but like pretty close. All right, we're gonna go in with a Hasselback situation here, which means we're gonna get heaps of like some spicy or some cheesy goodness like right through the potato. So let's deal with the Hasselback first of all. I'm gonna use some red skin potatoes here. You could use any potato that's good for roasting. And the trick to doing the Hasselback is that you want like a little guide on either side of the potato. So I just use some chopsticks. You could use a wooden spoon as well, down each side here. And then that gives you, so sort of, you know, the first couple of slices you don't want to go all the way down, and then you can use those chopsticks as a guide for slicing all the way through so that you don't cut all the way to the bottom. Now I'm doing mine fairly fine here. You could do them a little bit thicker if you wanted to, but I'm living for these potatoes. I'm going to give them a lot of love, so we're going to go all out here. And there you go. So you kind of have this really beautiful concertina kind of thing happening here. And that's gonna get stuffed with a whole lot of goodness. So anyway, pop that into a roasting tin and just keep on going. Okay, so now we have our glorious little tray here of our beautifully Hasselbacked potatoes. I mean, look at that, it's already such a joy. It's weirdly satisfying. Anyway, let's get down to this spicy butter part. So I've got some softened butter here. And then I want to spice things up here with some Korean gochujang chili paste. So the great thing about this is it's not just about the heat, like the paste itself is fermented and it has a really beautiful savory, almost like a smoky kind of flavor. I don't know, it's good stuff. So we want to get lots of that in there. And I want some Parmesan cheese in here as well. And some garlic. Now to me, like butter, garlic, potatoes, they are like one happy little family. You can go as hard as you like on the garlic. I like it quite garlicky. You can also pull back if you like as well. And now a little bit of spring onion here as well. I'm gonna make sure everything is really finely chopped for this because we've only got those like small, tiny little crevices that we want to get our mixture into. So make sure your garlic and your spring onion are lovely and fine. And a little dash of salt here. And we are good to go. Just give that a mix. Now, just as an aside here, this makes for some pretty awesome garlic bread spread. So next time you're doing your garlic bread, put some of this on there instead. It's really good. Now I want some cheese here as well, and I want a really stretchy, creamy kind of cheese, so I'm going with some mozzarella. You could go in with whatever cheese you love though. Okay, so that's everything like prepped and ready to go. Now we're gonna kind of get our hands dirty. So grab yourself a potato and smear a generous amount of that spicy, buttery goodness all over the top. And then what you wanna do is get your knife and kind of just run it through as many of those little slices as you can, just to get that butter like right inside all those little crevices. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, this is a labor of love, but you know, I do love roast potatoes and these are definitely worth it. And look, that butter's gonna melt and like melt down into each of these little sort of slices anyway, so you don't have to be too, you know, fine dining about it. And then just keep on going. Okay, check out our little buttery friends here, looking very snug in their little tray here. Now, what we want to do is we want to do a first bake where we kind of try and get the potatoes really nice and soft and all that butter like seeping in everywhere. And then we're going to get to the cheese a bit later. So I'm going to put some baking paper on first, and that just gives us a bit of a buffer around getting a really nice tight seal, and also make sure that, you know, some of that butter doesn't stick to our foil. Now, foil on top. So at this point, my friends, your house should be smelling like really beautiful, delicious, spicy garlic butter. That's what it should be smelling like. Let's get in here and have a look at what our potatoes are doing. Oh, wow, look at that color. Oh, so cool. All right, so what you want to do here is just let them cool down a little bit before you go in with the cheese, because otherwise you're going to get little burnt little fingers, which I don't want for you. Or if you have asbestos hands like I do, you could just go straight in. Now you just want to get that cheese and really just try and stuff that in there wherever you can. I told you this was a labor of love, my friends, but this is a love story with a happy ending, I promise. So these are all cheesed up, ready to go. Now we just want to blast them in the oven until that cheese is melted and bubbling and everything looks just delicious. Wow, I mean, look at that color, look at that cheese. Oh, this is so ridiculously exciting. Okay, so let's get in here and see what this is all about, because I can't wait. I just want to see what's happened with that cheese. That kind of cheese pull really is like, I dream of that at night time. I can't wait to get in here and try this. Let's see, shall we? You know what is so good about that? It's like spicy garlic bread, met some roast potatoes, and like a whole bunch of cheese got involved. And that is really good stuff, my friends. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. You could serve this with roast potatoes. You could serve this with steak. You could just eat it all on its own, just on its very own. And you would be very happy. Yum.
Now let's make a creamy miso prawn pasta. I'm going to start off here by doing a lemon pan grattado. What's a pan grattado? It's just a fancy word for breadcrumbs. Okay, so start off by toasting your panko breadcrumbs in a pan with some olive oil, then add some salt. Once your panko breadcrumbs are really lovely and golden, now you can start to add in the other flavorings. So you want to put in a mixture of chopped parsley and coriander, also some lemon zest, mix all of that together, and this is going to add a really beautiful flavor and texture component to your pasta at the very end. Now we're actually doing the pasta, and my really big technique tip here is you need to get your water boiling and your pan going at the same time. So I've got my water here, I'm going to add my linguine, and then I'm going to cook the pasta sauce while that pasta is cooking. So heat the oil and butter in a pan, and then before the butter is melted, I want to add the garlic in, because of course we are doing garlic prawns in this video. Then we're adding, you might have guessed it if you've watched my channel before, miso paste. Add in the prawns and then toss that around, and everything's going to start to look creamy and glossy already. Then you can splash in some wine and some lemon juice, keep tossing the prawns around in there, and then turn off that sauce and wait for the pasta. Once the pasta is al dente, you just scoop out a cup of the pasta cooking liquid and just set that aside. Now use some tongs to transfer the pasta into the prawn and sauce mixture. Add in your pasta cooking liquid and just keep tossing and stirring, and then that liquid and the butter and the oil and everything will start to emulsify and get so unbelievably creamy, even though we haven't added any cream. Now you can just turn the heat off, sprinkle in a little bit more of that coriander and parsley mixture from earlier. Now you can just pile that pasta up into your serving bowls. You need some parmesan here, just give it a really good sprinkle. And now comes our fancy breadcrumbs. Sprinkle those over the top. And I mean, look at that bowl. It just looks amazing. See, the reason you do all of that pan stuff is because the pasta just soaks up all of the flavor. Every little strand tastes like lemony garlic prawns. Ah, so good. Wow, look at that.
Perfectly cooked golden roast chicken. Guys, I actually think this is the best roast chicken I have ever made, and it comes down to charcoal cooking. Now, whether you're a seasoned pro or a beginner, it can sometimes seem a little intimidating, but if you've got the right information, my friends, it's actually very simple. I'm gonna break it down start to finish. Let's make my best Thai style charcoal roast chicken. So I think there are a lot of videos that either assume knowledge or give you too much information. But for me, the magic of charcoal barbecuing is very simple if you know what you're dealing with. You'll see that at its very core, we have this beautiful ceramic base is what really captures all of the heat and the fire and the flame. This is the magical part of a ceramic grill like this. We also have a bottom vent and a top vent, and those are the two things that will help you control your heat. And that, my friends, the other thing though, is lighting up this guy, which is also very easy. Let's do it. So we want to get in here to the bottom of our grill. So I'm just going to take these top parts off, take your fire basket out. Now I'm going to start with paper, and now my fire lighters, scatter those in, basket goes in, and now the charcoal. I have here my lump charcoal. This is what's going to give us the flavor, and it's really natural. It's basically just carbonized wood. So while my clever barbecue is doing its thing with the charcoal, I'm going to do my thing with the chicken and a marinade. Now, I've specifically chosen chicken for this beginner's guide because I really think it's the best kind of protein to start with to build up your skills on a charcoal barbecue. Now, I'm going to go with the spatchcocking method today. So I just need to grab my chicken, flip him over, cut through the backbone. And here we flip again and just give this a little press down. And the reason why this is a really good way to prepare your chicken is that it will allow it to cook faster on the barbecue and more evenly. Now let's do the marinade. So my marinade here is really simple because I think the star of the show with the flavors really is the charcoal. So it's a Thai marinade, starts off with some garlic, some coriander root. So that's the stem or the root part of the coriander bunch. There's a whole bunch of really root kind of I was going to say rooty, but that's not really what you're going to say, is it? There's a lot of the root end, which I'm going to take a little bit of that off and pop that in. White peppercorns, salt, and I'm just going to pound this to a rather smooth-ish kind of paste. Okay, so when you get to this sort of situation here, that's when you can add in the rest of the ingredients. So fish sauce, just a little dash here of sweet soy sauce just for some color, and some turmeric. Mix all of that together and that's our marinade. Okay, let's get this on the chicken. Now this marinade, I'm just going to rub it all over the top here. I just really love it because it gives the skin a really nice color as it's roasting and some of that flavor as well, of course. Now in an ideal world, you would let this marinate overnight, but you know what? I'm not always that organized, and I find that you get really good flavor even just with like 5 minutes or so.
Just a little more salt on the top here. Now this guy's good to get roasting. Let's finish off the setup in the barbecue. So I think one of the exciting things about charcoal cooking is that there is just a little bit of like know-how that you need to get things like really right. So I love how here you have two different levels that you can be cooking at. There's a grate here, there's a grate on top, and I can change these things around. So I want to do more of like an indirect cooking kind of situation for this. So I'm just going to remove this grate. Now this also comes with your Firehawk Kamado grill, and it is a ceramic plate. There's two of them, so you can use them like a pizza stone, but they're also a heat deflector. So they go in here, grill goes back on top, put it up fairly high above the heat, and now my chicken can go in. So I've placed my chicken over the heat deflector away from the direct coals so I don't get any burning flare-ups as the chicken cooks. So this is going to give it a really lovely even roast. Now this goes down. So for poultry, we're going to go between 2 and 3, and down on this bottom vent, we're going to open it up just a quarter of the way. And that should give us a nice like 180 Celsius roast.
While my chicken's cooking, I'm going to make my Thai-style chimichurri. I just need a whole load of some coriander, a whole load of some parsley, very finely chop that, add that into a bowl along with some chopped onion, garlic, really finely grated, dried oregano, along with some paprika, just a sprinkle of chili flakes, some salt, some olive oil, give all of that a really good mix, and then we're gonna tang it up with like the juice of 2 limes. Mix all of that together, and that one is ready to go.
So this is looking really good at this point. We're sort of at the halfway. I'm just going to flip this around. So see how I've got this really lovely colour here? I'm aiming to get that on the other side. But wow, that's looking good. I mean, it's perfection. This is what I love about using a charcoal grill for roasting a chicken. Look at the color, the smell, amazing, and perfectly evenly cooked. I mean, look at this chicken, it's so juicy. Look at that. So here we go, guys, my Thai-style charcoal chicken. If you have not tried cooking on a Firehawk Kamado grill, you need to, because this flavor, the juiciness, all the things, so good. Can I eat this now or what?
Very nice.
I didn't do the lamb how you do it though, so sorry. I made it different. You can taste later on when I serve it at the table. Perfectly cooked, juicy lamb steaks, a very traditional Thai dipping sauce. This particular version is sort of based on that very famous Thai grilled meat dish called Crying Tiger. But I'll fill you in on why my family version is different later on. Let's do it, my friends. Let's make Crying Tiger lamb. I'm going to let you in on a secret here. This marinade that we're about to make will make all of your grilling dreams come true, but inside and easier. This marinade starts off with beautiful lamb steaks. Look at these guys. Okay, I love this cut because it is beautifully lean, but still really juicy and tender. And I'm going to show you how you can cook this cut of meat perfectly indoors by using this marinade. So we start off with oyster sauce, a little bit of fish sauce here as well. Both of these ingredients are going to give us a salty umami flavor, but also the sugar content is going to help us get a really lovely caramelization really quickly in the pan before your smoke alarms go off. That's kind of what we want here. These lamb steaks don't need very long because the marinade is very intense. In fact, this entire meal can be done in less than 30 minutes, which is great. So I'm just going to put this aside while I make my spicy sauce. The spicy sauce, also known as nam jim jao, is made by lightly toasting some sticky rice in a pan. So this is raw, glutinous rice, also known as sticky rice. You just want to toast it away on a medium heat until you get this really lovely golden dark color. It'll start to smell like popcorn too. That's when you know it's ready. Now put that into your mortar and use your pestle to grind it to a fine powder. The rest of the sauce is simply tamarind. Now I'm using tamarind puree here. Sometimes it's called tamarind concentrate, tamarind paste. Any of those things is fine here. You just need a tablespoon along with some fish sauce, some sugar, some Thai chili powder. Now this is kind of important here because you want the right texture and you don't want it to be too spicy. So Thai chili powder just has a little bit of the seeds. You can see little chunks of dried chili plus some powder here as well. Add some lime juice. For the shallots, I want a really nice fine wedge here and then throw those into the sauce as well. And some finely chopped coriander, and then finally your toasted rice powder. Now this is a traditional namjim jao. It shouldn't be overly spicy, but if you're worried about spice, you could also serve this with some sweet chili sauce, which I often do for my kids. So there we go, friends. This is my mum's very special and famous, well, famous in my world anyway, crying tiger sauce. And actually I'll get my mum over here so she can try it, make sure I did a good job.
Very nice.
So I love, Mum, how you used to tell me that you made this sauce
Yes,
with Dad's lamb dishes when you first met him, because lamb was something new for you.
In Thailand, I don't know about lamb, but I have to cook for Charlie. I make the sauce, namjim gel, to go with the lamb. Make the lamb taste very good. And Charlie like it. Lamb is my favorite now because Charlie want me to make him cook his lamb.
Oh, that's good, Mum. I love that story.
Yes.
That's why I wanted to make this sauce today. All right, see ya.
See ya.
So now we're going to cook the lamb. And I think for a lot of people, cooking nice thick pieces of meat like this can be a little daunting, but that's okay. I got you. So let's start off with a really hot pan, add a little bit of oil, and then just use a paper towel to kind of brush it over the surface of the pan. That'll give us a nice even coating of oil. Now you can add your lamb steaks, and because we have that really awesome marinade that's going to help us with the caramelization, this kind of beautiful charry kind of color is going to happen in literally 2 minutes. So 2 minutes later, flip those steaks over and oh my goodness, look at that. Ah, so good already. Again, you don't want to overdo it here, so just another 2 minutes, so 4 minutes in total in the pan. And then we want to finish off the cooking really gently in the oven. So I'm going to pop the whole pan into the oven for 4 or 5 minutes. Now this is for lamb steaks that are about 3 centimeters thick. If your lamb steaks are thinner, then you could just do a little bit less oven time. Well-rested meat is lovely and juicy all the way through and evenly cooked. I've had mine resting on the plate here for about 5 minutes, and now we're ready to slice. Moment of truth. I love this part. Okay, let's take our piece of lamb. I mean, look at that. It's a thing of beauty. I love that. So perfectly cooked. Really beautifully rested meat, which means it's all kind of like juicy from top to bottom. That is so good. Now the thing that I love about this dish is serving it family style. I love having everyone there, passing everything around. So I'm gonna pop my steaks over to the side here and then fill my board with a whole bunch of fresh things. So snow pea shoots. I mean, this is all optional. You could do cucumbers, you could do other fresh herbs, anything you like. Got some lovely lettuce here, got some green beans, some mint, and there you go, my friends. I mean, this kind of lamb spread just makes me so happy, and I love sharing it. So I'm gonna get this to the table. Goodbye. Au revoir. Adieu. Thank you, Dad. It's your favorite lamb. The perfectly cooked pavlova really is a triumph of texture. Spongy in the middle, crispy on the outside. This is the challenge, my friends. Let's go through it together. I mean, the great thing about pavlova is like it's really light, so you can literally just like really eat a lot of it. This is my version of a classic Australian pavlova. So when you're half Thai, half Australian, you're eating a lot of like Thai mango sticky rice when you're growing up, but you're also eating a lot of pavlova. This is one of my family's all-time favorite desserts, and I'm sharing my recipe with you guys. All right, so the thing with the pavlova is you've gotta have that like spongy, you know, sticky, marshmallowy interior, and then you've gotta have that really crispy kind of meringue on the outside. It's a technique, it's a challenge, but I'm gonna show you my like foolproof method. Okay, let's start with the egg whites. Now, make sure you don't get any yolk in this mix because then you won't get a really good egg white kind of fluff. So just be careful with getting the yolk out. Now I like to just tip it straight into my hands because there are no sharp edges in your hands, unlike the shell. So you can just kind of move it between the two, just gently get that egg white off. Now the size of your eggs are important here, and in the recipe that I've got on my website for you guys, I've actually given the measurement of the egg whites in grams so that you can measure out exactly the right amount of egg white. You don't have to rely on, you know, big eggs, small eggs, you know, they can all be different. Okay, so this is where we get to like the secret tips kind of part. Everyone has a different way of making a pavlova. This is mine. I like to get in here straight away with some really high speed beating first of all, before I add anything else. So when you've got this kind of soft peak situation going on with your egg whites, that's been just a couple of minutes of high speed beating, then you want to start adding in your sugar. So turn the speed back up to high and then just gradually add in that sugar spoon by spoon until we get a nice kind of shiny meringue. Okay, so at this point the meringue should be looking really shiny, very, very firm. Have a look at this texture. And the point here is that you shouldn't be able to see any sugar crystals anywhere at all. If you've still got sugar that's undissolved at this point, when you get it into the oven, that sugar is going to melt and get all kind of like liquidy and weepy. That's when your meringue starts crying. Well, I kind of call it crying, but you know, you get like this liquid, which is not what you want. So make sure you can't see any sugar crystals here. And now what we want to do is kind of like firm up this meringue even more and stabilize it, and also kind of the next few ingredients will give us that sponginess on the inside and the crispy texture on the outside. So, and some corn flour. Some vinegar. Okay, so check out that texture. That is like, you know, it should not come, like, you know, you should be able to do that and nothing will come out. It's also a good time to taste. Yum. Now before I get the meringue out, I just want to make a little sort of circular guide on my baking paper here. I like to go with about a 20 centimeter diameter for this amount of mixture. So let's put a plate down, trace around there. So now we can scoop out that meringue onto our tray. So much licking when you're making dessert. You want to spread this out. It might seem like it's sort of really tall and not very wide, but you will get a little bit of spread as it bakes in the oven. So that's why I like to go a bit taller and a bit smaller than you might think to start with. And then just kind of shape that around the sides, kind of create a few little sort of swirls, overhang kind of pieces. I like to kind of make the sides a little bit higher than the center, just so we've got a really nice shape and a nice kind of sort of indent for our topping at the end. Okay, now here's the thing with the pavlova. It's definitely not your like quick 10-minute kind of dessert. This now needs to go in a really low temperature oven. All the times and temps and measurements on my website, guys. But this has to go in a low temperature oven for an hour and a half, and then you just switch the oven off. Don't take the pavlova out, switch it off and let it sit in there for 2 hours. So all of that ring roll is purely to ensure that we get the right amount of like crispy crack on the outside and that beautiful sponge in the middle. That's what it's all about, my friends. Patience. Okay, so to add a little bit of like extra sparkle to our pavlova, I'm going to do not just a whipped cream, but a coconut whipped cream. Yes. I love that coconut mango flavor. As I said, it's kind of like that, I guess, kind of like, you know, Thai mango sticky rice, kind of gives me those kind of vibes. Anyway, so with the coconut cream, I've had this guy sitting in the fridge overnight. Sort of fats in the coconut cream come up to the top and sort of solidify. So I want to take that solid, or, you know, sort of more thicker creaminess off the top. And I'm also going to add some regular thickened cream. So thickened cream kind of is called a lot of different things in the world, so you guys have told me. I believe in the US this should be double cream. In Australia we call it thickened cream or pouring cream. Look, any kind of cream that you use for whipping, that's the one that you want. And now some icing sugar. Now this just needs to get whipped. Oh wait, or maybe it's double cream. No, I said double cream. Maybe it's heavy cream. I think it's heavy cream. Someone needs to tell me in the comments, please. Thickened cream in the US is, there you go, insert. I don't want to get these things wrong. Anyway, when your cream is looking really lovely and fluffy, just like this, I better just check it out, you know. I just love that really subtle coconutty flavor you get with that cream. Ah, so lush. All right, let's get decorating. Oh, now that is such a thing of beauty. Now this should be completely cool. If not, let it cool down even further on your bench top before you put your cream and your decoration on. Now I have quite the collection of delicious things to put on top of my pavlova here. I've got little chocolates, some toasty coconut flakes, some mango. You could totally go your own adventure here, guys. I'm going with like the chocolate coconut mango kind of vibe. So first of all though, I want some cream on here. And then I want to kind of just drape those lovely slivers of mango all over the top. And now chocolate. Coconut. And there you go, friends. That is one magical looking pavlova in my book. Oh, I can't wait to get in there and have a look. This will be the moment of truth though. Do we have that soft, spongy marshmallow in the center and that crispiness on the outside? Let's see. Oh, wow. Oh my goodness, look at that. Look at that marshmallow stuff going on. Oh my goodness. So exciting. Okay, I'm very, very proud of myself for this one, guys. This looks amazing. Oh, I just love that, that pillowy, soft center and that cream. And you know what I love about this? So I've purposely kept the pavlova itself very classic in terms of flavor so that you can play with the flavors on the top. So I'm just gonna try out the pavlova part and we'll see. It should just melt, should just like puff away, and you're left with just a beautiful little bit of coconut and that beautiful cream flavor. Textures, everything, just perfect. This is really good. Yum.
Grilling is great, and it can be as simple as a protein and a side salad, but what if you want to make something that's truly shareable and impressive without too much effort? Well, I have the video for you. We're making my Thai-style Panang grilled lamb chops. So I'm going to start with the meaty part of the episode. I've partnered with Australian Lamb and I'm using this particular cut. It's the classic cutlet shape here. You could also use lamb loin chops. They're budget friendly but just as succulent and juicy as these guys. Now when I buy my lamb, I like to have a look at the meat to fat ratio.
This looks perfect, and these deserve a really good marinade, so let's get started on that. You want to start off here with some roasted peanuts, and I'm actually making a kind of cheats Thai Panang curry paste here. Curry paste that tastes like it's made from scratch in like 5 minutes flat. So grind your roasted peanuts first. Now add in your magroot lime leaves. Just take the stem out, add the leaves in, and then use your pestle to pound it until it's kind of like roughly crushed up. Now add in some Thai red curry paste. You can just use store-bought here. We are making a cheats version. You don't have to be a hero all the time. For the dried spices, I just need some cumin and some coriander. Stir all of that through, and very quickly we have turned a store-bought red curry paste into a Thai Panang curry paste. Now the curry paste is going to be both marinade and the base for our sauce later on. I've got my lamb here, and just add about a tablespoon or so of your paste, and then sprinkle over some fish sauce. Now give that a really good mix, and use your hands if you can, because I really want all of those lamb chops beautifully coated. Now you could leave these to marinate overnight, but to be honest, they're pretty much party ready right now. So, you know, if you've only got a few minutes, that's cool too. The next step is to get the Thai Panang sauce done. Now I love this style of recipe because all the important bits are done before your guests arrive. So this could be done the day before, for example. And at the end, you're just grilling and serving. To make your Panang sauce, just heat some vegetable oil in a saucepan, add in the rest of your Panang curry paste, and just cook that for like 2 minutes or so until it smells really lovely. Stir in the coconut milk, some fish sauce, some palm sugar, and then just kind of like bring that up to a gentle simmer and let it cook for about 3 minutes or so, and that is pretty much your curry sauce done. The final piece for our dish is all about adding lots of freshness. So I'm going with a pineapple herb kind of salsa situation. Start off with some pineapple. I'm just taking half a pineapple here. You want to peel it, cut out all those little like brown islets. Are they called islets? I'm not even sure, but cut them out because they're chewy. Now add that into a large bowl, some red chilies, and then loads of fresh herbs. So I have some coriander and some mint, and then spring onion. Now I did a little fancy thing here where I kind of finely sliced my spring onion, added them into some water, and just let them sit in the fridge for like 10 minutes. And look at them, they're all curly and fun. Really easy stuff to do. Now give everything a really good mix, and your pineapple herb salad is ready to go. So there we go, friends. Without very much effort at all, we are ready to have a party. Just need to do some grilling. This is so stunning. Oh, this kind of weather just makes me want to grill lamb. All right, now the trick to these is very simple. Pop them on the barbecue, medium-high heat. It's a nice thin cut, so it's going to cook quickly and very easily. I like about 3 or 4 minutes each side for medium rare. Make sure you grill that fat cap as well. So because we did most of our preparation earlier today, this is the easy part. Just plate at the table. So my lamb goes onto my platter. Now we just need the pineapple salad. And there you go, Thai-style Panang grilled lamb cutlets. Sticky, jammy, glazed ham, perfect for like an afternoon sunset on the jetty. It makes the ultimate ham sandwich. This is my Chinese 5-spice and blackberry glazed ham.
Is it mine?
You can't eat all of that.
So glazed ham kind of looks like one of those very impressive, kind of hard to make dishes, but I'm going to walk you through it step by step, how you take the skin off, how we prepare the ham, and then of course my glaze has a few little surprise Asian ingredients because you know I'm me. All right, let's do that glaze first of all. And I always start off with a fruit jam. So today I'm using a blackberry jam, but you know, I've used cherry jam, plum jam, you know, apricot jam. Any of those things is really great. And you need some brown sugar as well. And here's where we go a little bit rogue with some Chinese cooking wine. You could of course just use a little bit of apple juice or pineapple juice if you like. I do like the beautiful kind of floral flavor that Chinese cooking wine has. And then some Chinese 5 spice as well. And now we'll just give that a mix and just bring that up to a gentle simmer. Just be careful because it is quite sweet, so you don't want it to burn, but I do want it to simmer away and for all those sort of flavors to make really good friends in that pan for about 5 minutes or so. So in the meantime, let's go step by step through prepping your ham. Now, what you're looking for at the supermarket or your butcher is an already cooked smoked ham on the bone. So that's step one, is purchasing. That's what you're looking for. I like to have one with the bone in, so you've got that kind of handle here. And for this one, you really do want a little bit of fat underneath that skin. So you don't want a really lean ham, you want one with skin, and you can see a little bit of that fat here. And what we need to do is take the skin off, and then we're gonna prep that fat so that it gets all glistening and lovely, and you'll see what I mean. The magic happens soon. But to take the skin off, what you want to do is get your knife under here. So you want to make a cut here and then just with your fingers kind of work in between the fat and the skin and just really gently just separating that skin so that you're leaving the fat behind attached to the ham. Now if you get any rips or any tears or you get a bit stuck, just use your knife to kind of loosen that and then keep going until that skin kind of reaches a point where it's up high on that kind of bone handle, if you like. And then sort of just take that off. And then you should keep the skin, because once you've baked and glazed your ham and you want to store it in the fridge, the best way to keep it nice and moist and stop it from drying out is to actually put the skin back on it. So don't waste that, don't throw it away. And now we are left with our kind of nude, looks like a nude, a kind of nude naked ham. Anyway, weird, but it looks like it needs some dressing, which it does. We need to put our beautiful glaze on there, but first of all we want to score that ham fat so that we have a beautiful diamond pattern finish when we go to serve. So I like to start in the middle to make sure I get like a kind of, you know, centered diamond pattern. So I make one cut through here, and then I go to the side and just about like 2, 3, oh wait, probably like 3 centimeters apart, more like. Just keep going. And then back over the top. And then we switch this around and we make the diamond pattern the other way. Now once you've done that, your ham is ready to go into your baking tin. Now what I always do is line my baking tin or roasting tray with some foil, and then I put a baking rack on top. And this ensures 2 things. One, that glaze that we're going to put on there is sticky and sweet, and I don't want to be scrubbing burnt, sticky, sweet stuff off the bottom of my baking tray. So it's purely like a practical kind of thing. You know me, I'm always thinking about the washing up. So that goes on here. And now we want to brush with some of our lovely sticky sweet glaze. Now be generous here with that glaze. I want this whole ham shining and glistening like it's wearing high vis. A ham wearing high vis would actually be quite funny, but anyway, my mind is crazy. Let's just keep glazing here. This looks really good. And now I'm just going to do a little bit of decoration with some star anise. Okay, now I just want some water in the bottom of the pan. Don't let it touch the ham or anything. It's just to make sure that we don't get too much burning on the bottom. And now we're ready to pop this guy in the oven, 30 minutes, then we're going to come back and glaze again. All right, so this is smelling delish. We're starting to get some beautiful color on here. Let's do another round of glazing. And then we're back in the oven for another 30 minutes. All right, so this is looking really quite spectacular. Still not finished yet. I reckon one more lick of glaze and we're good to go. So I'm just gonna pile that on. Now just 10 minutes more and then we'll be good to go. Wow, look at that amazing stickiness, the color, everything, and it smells so awesome. All right, best thing I think to do with a lovely beauty like this is pop the whole leg onto a big tray, and you don't need much here on the side, just some mustard and some nice bread. I've just got some homemade focaccia, which actually you can find the recipe on how to make that on my channel if you're interested as well. But let's get in here and carve some of this ham so you can see exactly what you're in for when you make this one. All right, look at that juicy ham and that thick, sticky glaze, amazing. All right, let me just look at that shine. Do you know what is amazing about that? That glaze has so much flavor, like you can taste the Chinese 5-spice and the sweetness, and the ham is so nice and juicy. This is such an amazing way to do ham. So yum. All right, so I think the household is going crazy. I can hear Henry crying upstairs. I think I should just get this out so that everyone can have a sandwich and enjoy on the deck for sunset. I'm going to make a sandwich for Daddy. Make Daddy a big ham one, should we? Whoa.
Oh, yummy.
And this one? Do a sandwich for you, please. Okay. Should you want a baby one? Big one. Okay, we'll get you a big one. Okay, how about you have this big one first? Good job. There you go.
Hello, honey. It's time for dinner. We're having roast chicken.
We're having roast chicken.
I got scared up here.
Did you? How do you get roast chicken with the crispiest, most golden skin and the juiciest meat inside? Well, I have the answers, everyone. This is my very best salt and pepper roast chicken. All right, so there are so many different ways to roast a chicken. My way is hotter and faster. I think the hotter the heat, the crispier skin you get, and I'm all about crispy skin, and also the less time that bird spends in the oven, the less chance we have of drying out some of that white breast meat. So there are all the reasons why. Let's get into the actual making. Now I'm going to do a salt and pepper flavor with mine, so a slight kind of little Asian flair. I'm going to start with some black peppercorns. And I want some white peppercorns as well. So I like the mix here of the black and the white. I think you get a really nice, I don't know, kind of milder pepper flavor from the white, and then a kind of harsher, also more spicy kind of flavor from the black. There you go. And just grind those up. Okay, so this is the kind of situation that we're after with our pepper. I want to keep it quite coarse because I really want those hits of pepper when I'm biting into my chicken. And now I'm going to add some salt. Really good flaky sea salt here is what I love, but you could use kosher salt as well. Okay, so we're not going to do anything super tricky or fancy here because quite frankly, we don't have to. There are a couple of things we do need to do though. One, we need to fill the cavity. So you always want to fill the cavity of your chicken so that you don't get too much hot air cooking the chicken from the inside out. That is when you're going to get dry chicken. So I just want a lime, or a lemon would be fine as well, or an onion even. And now trussing. So you don't have to get all fancy with the trussing either. All you really want to do is pick these legs up and kind of pull them together, because you're kind of then making the whole chicken a bit more compact. Again, we're trying to make sure that things don't dry out. So if you've got some legs flapping around everywhere, then you've got more chance of things drying out. So pick the legs up and just tie them together with some string. Now make sure those wing tips are tucked underneath, just like that. All right, now we want to go on with our salt and pepper mix, and we want a lot. So I pretty much want to use the whole lot all on this chicken and really kind of rub it in there. Give that guy some love. And that is looking very good. And now you want to go in with a much higher temp than you might normally think. So usually about 180 degrees Celsius is what is recommended in recipes. We're going to go in at 250, and that is 480 in Fahrenheit. So really hot. All right, so you guys know me by now. Of course, what am I going to have with my chicken? It's going to be a spicy dipping sauce. So we are going with a Thai style Nam Dim Dao sauce today. A really traditional, kind of funky, spicy sauce. So first up, we want some fish sauce. And now I want some tamarind. So tamarind is an ingredient that's really sour, and you can find it in like most Asian grocery stores or online these days. And some brown sugar. So we've got the fish sauce, it's like salty, umami, a bit funky. You've got the sour tamarind, you've got the sweet brown sugar. Now we want to go in with some shallots. Okay, so this just needs to be roughly chopped. And I want some chili flakes here. As much or as little as you like, but this sauce traditionally should be like fire, like it should be really hot. So I put a fair bit in, and some coriander as well. And then finally some lime juice. And let me just see if this sauce is tasting good, because you always need to check the seasoning here. I love that. Whoa, it is spicy. It's got that really funky, like fish sauce, savory kind of kick. And then those shallots as well, really kind of all just works together. That is one beautiful spicy sauce. All right, so now we're just waiting for our chicken. So at this temperature, your bird is going to need 20 minutes per 500 grams, and that should work out to be perfectly cooked. Whoa, I mean, okay, come on, check out that chicken. That is really a work of art. Amazing, like that skin, that beautiful color, that crispy, salty, peppery goodness on there. Oh, truly perfection. I'm so excited about this. Okay, so let's make sure that our chicken is cooked, and I'll show you guys how we do that. Just get the chicken onto a board. And then you just want to have a look inside this leg joint part here. Just cut that open and make sure all those juices in there are running clear. If they're pink, still not done, pop them back in the oven for a few more minutes. All right, so in an ideal world, you would let your chicken rest for about 10-20 minutes. I really need to get dinner on the table at this point in time, because as those of you with toddlers would know, that you kind of get to a witching hour point of the day where the screaming doesn't stop. So I'm gonna get my chicken carved right now. All right, so I'll break this down for you guys. Really simple way to carve a chicken. First of all, we take those strings off the legs. Okay, now legs first, cut through here. And now legs and thighs are always in high demand at my place. So I try to, divide them up in as many pieces as possible. So we want to get the drumstick first. And then cut that thigh in half. That glorious chicken skin. And now we want some wings. Now you want to slice through that breast. Try to make sure you're not disturbing too much of that beautiful crispy skin. You want each piece to have a nice whisper of skin there to crunch through. And then just slice that breast. And there you go. All right, quick word about what we've got left over after we've carved our chicken. One, you have a pan full of like schmaltzy, yummy, salty chicken fat. Do not waste that. You could make a pan sauce out of it, or I like to save it and kind of toss some potatoes in there next time I'm roasting and get them all chickeny and salty and yummy. So save that. And then we have the chicken carcass. Put that in the freezer and make yourself a chicken stock at a little later date. Roasted chicken carcass always makes for great stock. All right, but let's get to our roast chicken. All I need to do now is get my spicy sauce on the side. And there you go, guys. The very best roast chicken I know how to make, and I am super excited for you guys to try this one. But let me try this first so I can tell you all about it. Now, I know that you guys know that I'm a legs and thighs girl, so that would be cheating to try that. I am gonna try the breast and tell you how well we've done with the juiciness. Let's have a look. Okay, I'm telling you, chicken breast gets a bad rap. I promise you, if you do it just like this, it is insanely good. That is so juicy, it literally could be a piece of thigh. I mean, out of this world good, guys. So good. Let me get some spicy dipping sauce too. Now that really makes me one very happy girl. That salt and pepper chicken flavor, that really juicy breast, and then that spicy kick of flavor. Wow. Just wow. I mean, yes. So looking forward to dinner tonight. Crispy pan-seared salmon, fresh, tangy herb noodle salad. And friends, this is one bowl you don't want to miss out on. This is my Vietnamese salmon noodle salad. So there's two key things for this dish, guys. One, don't stuff up the noodles. We want beautiful, bouncy, lovely noodles, not soggy, overcooked ones. Two, you want that perfect kind of crispy crust on that salmon. I'm going to show you my little tricks for doing that at home. So first up, let's get our noodles sorted first. Now, I have some room temperature water here, and I'm using some glass noodles, also known as cellophane noodles, also known as like mung bean noodles, bean thread vermicelli noodles. Anyway, the point is these guys are very tricky to cook because they get all soggy and they clump together. So my trick is pop them into some room temperature water first and just leave them alone for like 10 minutes or so, and they'll soften up a little. The soaking will give you a more even, quicker cook. I find when they go straight into boiling water, those noodles overcook on the outside, but they're not cooked through the center. So there you go, little trick for home. Let's get on to our salmon now, shall we? Now, beautiful pieces of salmon. Just want a little bit of salt here. And now my first little tip here is to dry out that skin. Get some paper towel on there, press down, make sure it's really nice and dry, because moisture will be your enemy when it comes to getting things crispy and crunchy. So take that off. A little bit of salt on that skin side, because of course the salt helps to give us the crust as well. Now I'm gonna get my pan heating up here. Now, I think one of the things with cooking fish at home is that there's always that fear that like the fish skin is going to stick to the pan, or how do you get that really crispy crust? So a couple of things here. First of all, get your pan really hot. Now, I'm using Analon X pans today. These are a non-stick, but actually they sear like a stainless. But the point is, whether you're using a stainless or a non-stick or any kind of pan, make sure you get it really hot, because that first sizzle when that skin hits the pan, that's gonna really start to develop that crust, which means we won't get any sticking. Now I'm just gonna add some oil in here, and this is a real bonus with this pan because the oil stays in the center. Oftentimes you find with pans the oil runs out to the side, you don't get a very even cook. Now add that salmon skin down first. That's the sound you want to hear, that beautiful sizzle. Now I'm not done solving problems here, because the other problem that I have when cooking salmon at home is getting a lot of kind of splatter and mess. I really hate mess. So what I like to do is pop some baking paper on top here, and that takes care of the splatter business. Now I like to also weight down the top of the salmon with another pan so that all of that beautiful skin is really pushing down on the hot oil and the hot pan, and that is going to give us the most beautiful, even, crispy crust. Now you want to leave those guys sizzling in there until we've got the crispy crust, around about like 2 minutes. Okay, let's turn these over. Oh wow, look at that crust, like it's so perfectly even and it's so perfectly crispy. At this point I'm going to turn the heat off, because I'm going to get that gentle cooking through the center. You can see just by sort of giving it a little squeeze on the side here that we're nice and still soft and juicy through the center. It's going to be like a kind of still like a blush, a little bit translucent through the center. If you want it really well cooked, then leave it in for a little longer. Now my other little bits and pieces for this noodle bowl, very simple. I'm gonna make some really quick pickled carrots. I'm gonna pop some carrot strips into a jar. Just add in some sugar. And I think this kind of pickled element really gives you the Vietnamese flavor here. Okay, a little bit of salt and some vinegar. Now just give that a mix. And these are very quick pickled, so they'll be ready to go by the time we're dishing up our noodles. The other thing I want to do is make a really quick Vietnamese dressing. This is a nuoc cham dressing. It's such a great dipping sauce, salad dressing. Make double, make triple. Keep it in your fridge for the week. It's so good. Okay, some chopped chili, some garlic, sugar, vinegar, and some lime juice. And some fish sauce. So now we're at the noodling part. All right, we've got our noodles soaking here, and you can see they've really softened up. They're not cooked through yet, they've just merely softened. I'm gonna pop them into some boiling water, and it's gonna be like literally seconds before they're ready. See what I mean? They soften up so quickly, and you definitely do not want to overcook these. And now we go in with some really beautiful fresh herbs, because that to me is what a Vietnamese salad is all about. I've got some mint, some basil, this is Thai basil. Now I'm going to drizzle over some of that dressing. Those noodles a toss. And one more little tip with glass noodles, if you find that they're starting to sort of clump together too much, you can just give them a little snip with some scissors. Kind of makes them a more manageable length. Okay, so we are ready to build our bowl. I've got some lettuce here. Oh, those fresh herby noodles. Some of that pickled carrot. Now that salmon. Oh, so crunchy, listen to this. Okay, so I just want like chunks of my beautiful salmon here. And then final little bits that kind of add some extra flavour, some roasted peanuts and some shallots. A little extra drizzle of dressing. Now I wish you guys could smell all the wonderful, amazing fresh herbs and the garlic here, but I'll just, get in here and see, make sure I've done a good job for you guys. Wow, I love this kind of salad. It's like such a big explosion of flavour. There's, that tangy, slightly spicy dressing, sweet, sour, crispy salmon. Just perfect. Yum.